Alright lads, so today is Sunday, so you know that means we do have a new GQ coming out later today. I will have a video up on my team that I will be using for that GQ. Hopefully I can beat it, but in preparation as we do wait for the GQ to actually reset, let's talk about some of the best cards that you might want to use for this specific week. So this week in question is the ranged holo week, so you want to be bringing ranged characters that have holo killer, because if they are melee based, they are basically doing no damage, unless they do state that they ignore resistances. So this is killer damage times 5, so killer is very important. Special move damage, as always, is cut in half, so you don't really care about your soul bomb damage all too much. Range attack damage times 2, so your ranged character do 100% extra damage. And then the status element for this week is going to be freeze, and that's very important. So what you want to do is, as always, bring your best team. You want to mainly focus on an SP main as your lead, and then 2 flurry characters on the side, preferably if they are immune to freeze. So unfortunately at the same time, there are only 3 characters in the game right now that have the holo killer, that have flurry and are ranged. Now fortunately, 2 of the 3 characters actually are already immune to freeze themselves. The only one that isn't immune to freeze is this Kira right here, so if you do want to use him, and he's not a bad option by the way, you're going to want to make sure you have some kind of accessories or links to make sure that he is immune to freeze, and we will be talking about that later in the video. But he's a very good NAD character just to have as a side lane. He also does have 100% last ditch survival, so if he does die, he's going to revive and just have that extra bit of survivability. Good character as a side lane. Then we have the other Izuru, also another good character. In this case, he actually can paralyze, and if you do paralyze, they're going to be stuck there for 7 seconds. So he is probably the best character as a side lane in my opinion. The fact that he can paralyze, the fact that he can actually heal your team, it just makes him an overall good support character. Very good character right there, and he himself is immune to freeze, so you don't have to have any freeze immunity links onto him, and you can just focus on building him with full nads. And then the last fly character to talk about in this situation is Guinea. Now lucky for most of us, we should have him duped out, or just have him in general, because he is a premium character. He's a character that's been thrown into a lot of banners. He himself is immune to freeze. Again, it just makes it so you can actually give him those extra stats. You don't have to put off color freeze immunity links, just focus on the full nad. But unfortunately, only his nad string and his SA3 can actually inflict the freeze, so it's unfortunate. It doesn't matter that much. You can still get lucky and paralyzed. But I will say, with this Guinea and also the White Day Izuru, or Machine Society Izuru, they're going to be very good characters as side lanes, because you're just going to constantly keep proccing the paralysis, stopping the enemy from attacking you. And those are the 3 characters that you might want to use for this upcoming week as a side lane character. Now, going on from that though, I do want to mention a few other characters. Let's take off the holo killer. You can actually experiment with other characters that have boost. As always, a boost is very important, and if your main character that you are using isn't supplying the boost, then you want to make sure you have a potential side lane character that can do that. So for example, Masaki. Masaki is also going to be a very good character for this week. Even though she doesn't have killer, I think she's still going to be very viable. Not only does she have a high attack stat, also with a high bruiser, she is going to be doing a decent amount of damage if you do have that level 10 attack. She is also supplying the boost and a shield, and that just makes your team have extra bit of survivability, and I'm actually going to be using her for this upcoming week just for that alone. The boost is going to be very important, and another main thing why I'm talking about her is that she does actually have an innate skill which makes it so she is immune to freeze. So again, you can bring her and just stack it with full recharge, 3 heart links to make sure she has the most status possible, and you can just go to town against the boss. She's going to be a very good side lane as a support, stack with full recharge, and you should be good. You can also do the same for Aaroniero. You can also do the same for Kiryu and Tokinada, but they themselves aren't immune to freeze, so you're going to have to put some freeze immunity links on them. But if they supply the boost, then they should be helping your team out, even though they're not doing that much damage. And then looking at our main runners, who can we use for this specific week? So we did mention that there are 3 NAD characters with the holo killer, so you can actually maybe rock this Izuru as a main lead and just try and do a NAD build, and that might potentially work. Since he is the only NAD character with the ranged holo killer that isn't immune to freeze, maining him might be a good option if you can actually dodge those freeze pulls. Nemu is going to be a pretty good character for this week. Not only is she a ranged character with a pretty high berserker, she has basically 40%. She has an increased chance to inflict the paralysis, but unfortunately it's only against speed attribute holos. If it was against holos, that would have been absolutely amazing, but nonetheless she does have paralysis, and if you do inflict that, then again it's stopping the enemy from hitting you, and that's very important. So she could be a pretty good character as a main. If you have her duped out, even better. What I will say is going to be the best character for this week as a main is obviously going to be 5th anniversary Byakuya. If you have him, I definitely recommend using him. Not only does he have a 40% berserker, the main use for this character, even if you have him 5-5, even if you have him 1-5, it's to stop the enemies from attacking you. If you give this guy free recharge links, he's going to constantly keep stacking that SA2, and the enemy's almost never going to hit you, allowing your two side lane characters to do non-stop DPS. So I would definitely recommend bringing him. He's also a ranged character, so he is getting that bonus damage, and just keep stacking that SA2. Once the SA2 wears out, use the SA1, use the SA3, and again, it will just stun lock the enemy, they won't attack you, and this is the team that you definitely want to use. I would definitely recommend, probably the best team to use for this actual week is probably going to be this Byakuya, and then use the Guinea and also the White Day Izuru, and if you do want to supply a team with a boost, maybe take off Izuru, maybe take off Guinea, take off one of them, and then put Tokinada, put Masaki, give them full recharge, and you should be able to easily beat this week. But again, it comes down to Transcendence, it comes down to accessories and links. It's not going to be easy if you just have the characters. Outside of those characters, there's a few decent options. Rukia can be a good option. She can freeze. She might be pretty good. You have Makoto. He lacerates. Wouldn't really recommend bringing him unless you have him 5-5. Halibel doesn't inflict any status elements, so it might be a hassle. This Aizen can provide a shield. He has a few pushback attacks. It could be okay. Same with the Orihime. She can heal. But I would definitely say you'll want to have this Byakuya, man. He's a very good character for GQ. Very, very good. What you can also do is actually rock the 5th anniversary Ichigo. Even though I'm not showing him right now, he does have the ignore melee resistance, so you can actually use him, and he does have very high damage output, especially if you have him duped out. He's going to be pretty good. Rukia can freeze. She can stack full recharge. Definitely a good option there. She herself is also immune to freeze, so if you can just keep proccing the freeze and the paralysis, then you've got yourself a good team. So that's basically the characters to talk about. Again, you can experiment with other characters, but I would definitely recommend bringing some of the characters that I did mention. If you don't have them, then it might be a bit tough, but you know your account better than I do, so you might be able to come up with an option that I haven't even thought about today. And now let's look at some of the links that you might want to using on your characters. So if you are bringing Izuru, for example, he doesn't have the freeze duration, this Rukia is going to be a very good link for him. Not only is she a mind character, so she's giving him extra stat if you have him link-sided, she also is providing a 20% non-attack damage buff and the 55 freeze duration, so that's a very good link. The Okura is a damage reduction link and also freeze duration. You can use that, but I wouldn't really recommend it. Then you have the Rukia, the Halibel, and also this Rangaku, free recharge links with freeze duration. So if you have this Rangaku right here, and then you have the Rukia right here, if you need a character that is immune to freeze, those links are going to be the best links for them. Personally, I'm probably going to rock these three on my Byakuya, giving him that 214 recharge links plus the freeze duration, and then maybe actually I won't put the Halibel on, but I'll give him another 14 recharge, because you only need 100% to be immune to the freeze duration. You also have another non-attack damage link here, freeze duration very good. Wouldn't really recommend bringing strong attack damage links, they're not that needed. You have another recharge character here, very good. Another non-attack damage plus freeze duration, another recharge. So you have a lot of options here. Another NAD, like there's a lot of characters that you can use here that have freeze duration plus NAD or recharge. Those are the two important ones, right? I don't recommend just bringing a normal freeze duration. Unless you are lacking them, you can actually do that. There's some 4-stars that you might want to bring too, but if you are doing that, you're lacking on the recharge, you're lacking on the NAD, and overall it's not going to be that good. But if it's your only option, then sure, bring those characters. But that being said, lads, that was this week's GQ. Hopefully, I was able to help you, provide you with some details on what character you might want to use. As always, if you can't beat it right now, work on those characters, right? Eventually start building them up, and with the new power system, it should get a lot easier. And this isn't something that you need to beat in a day, right? If you work towards it, and then you finally beat it, then you earned yourself that W, right? Then it should make you feel like you actually did something. You invested in the right characters, and now that you can beat something that originally you wasn't able to beat. So don't stress about if you can't beat it now. You can work towards it another time. For example, the Ranged Aranka week, which will be coming out in around 2 weeks time as I'm making this video, I'm going to struggle on that, and hopefully I can beat it, but we'll have to wait and see. The no affiliation week I actually can't beat too, so I'm going to try and work on my no affiliation characters to make sure that next time it does come around, I can get at least a better score or maybe even beat it. And if we look at next week, by the way, it's going to be your melee story per week, so you want to be bringing characters that are immune to weakening. They're going to be the go-tos for this. Your main lead doesn't need to do that, but we will be talking about that next week, so make sure you guys are subscribed for that. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video though. In the comments below, let me know what characters and teams that you are using. I'm curious to know, and I'll see you guys in the next one, which will be the GQ later today, so stay tuned for that.